Hello and welcome to HubLive. It's 1 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon. My name is Elise Hatton and I'm coming to you live from the Smart Hub. Now, we are in unprecedented times. We're living through something that none of us have ever experienced before. And it is so important for us at the Smart Hub to be able to bring content to you now that is relevant, that will actually help you manage your business, your life, your teams, the people in your life in a productive and a safe way moving forward. So what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about how to manage teams remotely. And as you can see, I'm pretty much alone in the room except for Jacinta and I, and we are practicing very appropriate social distancing. And all of my guests moving forward will be remote. So my first most remote guest for today is Mr. Daniel Johnson. Hello, Mr. Daniel Johnson. How are you?
I'm doing great. Sorry I'm not there in person, but we are definitely practicing the social distancing thanks to the power of the internet.
Yeah, doing the right thing. I think the one thing that everyone is going to become super familiar with is how the internet can really make things possible over the next 6 months, if it does continue on for 6 months, right?
Yes, it's actually going to give power, I think, to people to realize that you can work for wherever. So you may be able to take a 3-4 week, 6 week vacation somewhere and work part-time and then vacation the other. So I think I'm looking at this as a bigger opportunity for us to press reset and challenge some norms that we've just chosen to accept.
I agree. I think there's a lot of opportunity in the current situation, but also acknowledging that there's a lot of challenges that we do need to overcome. Now, as business owners, one of the biggest responsibilities that weigh on us is our team. I was speaking to a business owner last night who was saying, that they're considering should they stay open or should they just close the doors. And really the reason why they want to stay open is to keep their team employed. And I know that a lot of people would be thinking the same thing right now. I spoke with Simon Lever a few weeks ago, and he mentioned that your people are the most important asset of your business. The Prime Minister has been saying that you need to hang on to your people as much as possible because you're going to need them on the other side of this. You're going to need them to bring your business back in and take it forward and make it strong and great. And so what we'd like to share with you now are a couple of the technology tools that you can use to help set up your team to work remotely. Now, I'm pretty confident in what I'm about to say. Even when the whole coronavirus thing is over, you're probably going to want to hang on to these tools because they are great ways, technology platforms, and great ways for you to manage the workflow within your team and help people work from anywhere, whether it's the office next door or whether it's from home. So we're going to show you two platforms today. The first one is called Trello, and you would have heard, if you're a follower of our Hub Lives, you would have heard that word before, Trello. And Trello is just the name of a platform. And the other platform that we're going to share with you today is Monday.com, which when I spoke with Chris Lorang a few weeks ago, again, he said that was his favorite time management and productivity management tool. And the way in which we're going to manage this conversation is Mr. Daniel Johnson is going to be in the driver's seat today. And he's actually going to do a lot of screen sharing and step-by-step how to set things up and also compare Trello to Monday and see which one is best. So I'll hand over to you, Mr. Daniel Johnson. Which one do you favor? Do you favor Trello or do you favor Monday.com?
Yeah, so there's not a lack of these tools, and they're called project or task management, and a lot of them have some free tiers. So if you have a couple employees, you can probably get away with not spending a single dollar on it until you make some more advanced things. But some of them, if you got 5 employees, you're looking at $50 a month. That's US, and the exchange rate now isn't where it was a couple months ago. But I'm a Trello fan, so I've had it for years. Bought it years and years and years ago, I think on an unlimited, whenever they had some startup package. But yeah, so I use Trello. Other people use Monday. It really doesn't matter. They all do the same thing, but there's some mindsets that I would encourage people to have before they engage in an online platform, because just putting something online doesn't make it better. You have to change a couple other things at the exact same time for it to be an improvement over what you're doing.
Okay, so let's just stop there. So number one thing, We are really reviewing 2 project or task management systems today, as you introduced, but there are many. Asana is another one that's really great, and I know that some of our members use Asana and love it. There is Zoho is another. They have an aspect of their tool that you can use. So but what we're going to do is we're going to favour the 2 most, what we see as the 2 most popular, easy to use, easy to integrate versions. As Daniel said, all of these platforms have a free version. So if you want to just go online, and the way to find these platforms is to do what, Daniel? Just Google?
Yeah, so the 2 that we'll show you is Trello, Trello.com, and we'll put that in the comment link so you can quickly find it. And then the other one is Monday, just like the first day of the work week, so monday.com. And both have a limited they have a couple limited versions for some scaled down, or a week or 2 week trial, so you can try. What I would encourage people to think about is anytime that you're trying to put technology in, putting technology in for the sake of technology is not recommended. So if you think of implementing a new system, it doesn't matter what it is, think about it like a little bit of a triangle. And the top of the triangle could be the technology, what you're trying to do. Then another edge of the triangle is the process behind what you're trying to do. And the last one is the people. And what happens around the world, and even though we've been studying this for a very long time, is if we only select one of those ends to move, so just the tech, and then we put it in, it is a guaranteed failure. It will not work. If you want to increase your odds of success, you need to change 2 out of those 3 pillars. So either the technology and the process, or the process and the people, or it doesn't matter which one you do. But if you really want to guarantee success, you change the tech, you change the process, and you empower the people to embrace the technology. So just signing up for this is not going to change your business or help you work out better, but you've got to create a process for this new tech, hold people accountable for utilizing the tech, and of course train them so that they know this is the new path forward. And by the way, you can't use the old way that we were doing stuff before, because if Joe, who has been with us for 15 years, can still go back to his piece of paper and not put it on the system like everybody else is looking out, we've got a problem. We've got a rogue person that we either need to encourage them more, or we change the people by changing the people, which is not what we want to have happen right now in this environment. So there's my little theory on how to implement the technology. So train the people, introduce them, and make sure the processes support what you're trying to do. So good on that?
Okay, perfect. Is there any other mindset things that we need to consider to move forward?
I encourage people to think about the simplest process first. So think about the perfect path. If everything goes well, design for that, because that's going to be 60, 80, 70% of your time. And then carry out those other ones that, oh, well, it didn't go to design, and now you have an opportunity to flip it or augment the process. So do perfect path first, and then you make it more complicated. So, and I can show you one of those right now if you want to.
Start simply. Okay, let's screen share.
Yeah. So I'm going to share my screen, and let's hope that technology works, which I think it will. And let me just show you what it'll look like the first time somebody goes to Trello or any of these other tools. They make it pretty simple for you to do. They tell you exactly what they do. They let you work collaboratively. And all it is it's task oriented, who's doing what and who's completed what, or who has something to do. So you can definitely log in. If you're interested in the pricing, I'm pretty sure that it's at the bottom, and it's pretty easy. It's free forever, and they let you a limited list and cards, and I'll show you what cards are in a second. And you can have certain things happen, but we can show you what this is. And then it gets $9, $10 US per month per user. And of course, they want you to pay annually, but as you scale up, it gets different. An Australian-based company that is doing this, that's known pretty well, is very complicated. It's not made for the average person or the small business. Although you could use it, it's very complicated. But that's what you see on the first price. So after you sign up, what you'll have happen is, since I'm already logged in, I'll show you how I use this on a real project. And then we'll build one together. So what I do is, this is what you see whenever you first log in, and I'll show you what it is. But there are all these boards about these. Think about these are different projects that you may have. And what happens is you can have one or more boards, and so maybe you have one for your website redesign, one for your remodel of your kitchen, another one for your new marketing campaign for 2020, whatever it is. You can create these if you want. I'll show you one. I was helping redo a website, and I'll show you the.
Okay, can I just quickly interrupt? So when someone signs up for the first time, when they get into the screen, they won't have these boards because you created those boards. Those boards are your boards, right? Yeah. So then so where do you go? The first thing, you go to boards and add a new board.
Yeah. So it actually they have this cute little dog called Taco that will guide you through the process. So Taco will say, hey, let's get started. And it'll go through this process of coming over here, and you can create a new board. And this is what it'll end up doing automatically. So if we wanted to do a bathroom remodel, doesn't matter what it is. You create the board, and then what it does is it shows it here. And then this is your blank template of what you can do. And the first thing it's asking you to do is create these lists. And the very first one, if we're going perfect path, I create a parking lot, and I click on add list, and then I create a list, and then a doing list, and then a completed list. And this is, think about these just like you're at the pool or something like this. We will call these swim lanes. And this is just so you can quickly glance and see what is in what stage of the process. So for instance, the parking lot I use is just all these things that eventually I know I want to do. So it could be something like hang a beautiful picture. I can spell the word beautiful. And you click on add card. And you can come in here and keep on adding all the different tasks that you need to do. So install lighting. And if you just keep on hitting enter, they just keep on adding more and more. So it could be install sink, whatever it is. Now, the beautiful thing about these are the high-level tasks that you may want to do. But let's say install the sink. If we click on that, we now get more information on what we're doing. So we may know in the description, this is more information for anybody that sees it, and we can say, I want a white sink that has 2 tubs. We click on save, and now that's sort of our reminder of what we're doing. Now you may come in here, and you may go to Bunnings, and you may put links in there, hey, I like this, I don't like this, something like that. And that's sort of the easiest way that you can see what you're doing. But here's the cool thing is, let me get a drink, is you can create checklists. So this could be,
oh dear, Daniel, are you okay?
No, I had a quesadilla before we jumped on this.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So you may have a checklist, which could be the install checklist. And once you have the checklist, you can then add items. So it could be add grout. It could be install faucet, a UCT, and all those other checklist items that you know need to have happen. And this is, instead, it's so difficult to keep everything in your head. My mentality is, if it's not documented, it does not exist. So this is the process I would go forward with. And what I usually do is, whenever I decide to work on something, like, oh, this week I'm actually going to work on the sync, I'll just click it and I'll drag it in this to-do. And this could be like my weekly list of all the goals or tasks that I want to do this particular week. And once I do that, as I complete task, I can click on it again, and maybe I completed that one. So it's giving me how far I am for it. Tick off another one, and now we know we're 67% done. And this is sort of the cool way. At a glance, you can quickly see what's going on. So that's just like easy path number one.
Nice. Okay, so let me just quickly say something profound, or repeat the profound thing that you said. So Daniel just said another mindset kind of issue. If it's not documented, it doesn't exist. So if you think about your own business and you think about the processes, even while you have your team working inside of your office, if things are not documented, they really in a way do not exist. And so this is a fantastic opportunity to document your processes and also to use this system to be able to track where everyone's at and use this as a delegation tool. So what if I wanted to get someone else to install the sync? How would I put that onto one of my team members' to-do list?
Yeah, so one of the things you can do is you get this invite. So if I were to invite, and I invite, let me just invite my other account plus and on the board. And then what happens on any of the tasks, there's these cool things you can do. You can assign it to people. So you can click on add to card a member, and then this is the account that I just added. And then they get a notification, and these people can log in and they see updates to these, so you can at a glance just see the amazing things and progress that you have. So
that is so awesome.
Yeah, it's just simple. You add a member. You can even do this thing called add label. So you may have something that it's high priority, and then you create a high priority, and then it's red. And once you do that, the cool thing after you do that is now it shows as red, which is hey, this is hair on fire. We got to do something. So
yeah.
And then the last thing, which all these tools share, is you definitely see the activity. So you see the progress of when and how people made progress. And then you can also write comments. So if I want to write to somebody, once they accept it, I can tag them in it and be like, hey, can you add a picture to it or whatever, press save, and then they get a notification at it. So it simplifies communication. Everything's in there. If somebody needs to review, you can say, hey, can you give a glance at this before we proceed? You can assign due dates, assign attachments. There's just amazing things you can do with it.
Absolutely. And so when it's done, how do they then go and say done?
Yeah, so you've got a couple things to do. So one is if the to-do list is our Monday morning, hey, this is what we agreed to do as a company, as people start working on stuff, they may take one of these cards. Let's say if we decide we're going to do all these things today. Someone may say, you know what, this is in the to-do list. Well, I'm gonna start working. I'm gonna start doing the install the lighting. And so this is our list of everything that we still need to do this week on the to-do. But the doing list is what people are actively working on right now. And so as they complete it and everything, they may say, you know what, that ticks off the list per the checklist items or the requirements. And then they drag it to complete, and then we're done. And then that's our visual way to know that we've completed it. And then if what some people will do is they'll have an archived list, and then they just put everything in there, what was completed in the last 30 days. So a lot of people, they do so much work, they actually don't know what they completed over the past week, month, or year. And that just gives you a beautiful laundry list of these are the amazing things we've done. But after you do complete it, maybe on Thursday afternoon, there's a touch base. Hey, what did we get done? Who needs help? What's still outstanding in the to-do list? And then you just report on it. You can mark it as done. There's a couple different ways that you can do it. One is typically through the archive, and you can send it to. You can have another board you created with your completed task, and then you never want to delete it. You just want to put it somewhere. So,
Okay, very nice. And really, as you did to start with, you set up these the board, so it can say anything. This
oh
is
yeah.
your suggestion. That is your system. You could have waiting on, or
Yeah.
to be processed, or whatever you want to call your board, right?
Or if we know that after somebody does it, it needs to be quality assured, so we can have it for review. And as somebody moves it from each, well, it hangs out in the review process, and then people know that they need it. It can't go to completed until somebody else reviews it to make sure the task was completed as requested.
Nice. So just to kind of, I suppose, wrap up Trello.com so we can go to Monday. Number one thing, it's free to sign up for forever if you only have specific functionality, and then there are paid functionality options. Really, really simple to use. Document your processes. Set it up as exactly as Daniel described. But more importantly, if you get stuck at any single point, just YouTube it. How do I
Oh
use
yeah.
blah blah on Trello, right? If anyone gets stuck, that's the way to go.
Oh yeah. YouTube. There's so many people that if you see how to get started Trello. Trello's website will guide you through it, and they do a really good job with guiding you through it with their little taco suggestion. But there's so many people that use it that they say, "Oh my gosh, this is so awesome! I want to show you how this changed my life." And not only can you use it on a computer, but I also have it on my phone. So you can do some amazing things, and I'll share one sort of very advanced thing. You know how there's Siri and Google and everything like that?
Yes, we do know that Siri and Google
Yep.
exist.
Yep.
Yes.
So I have one where I can tell, and I'm an Android user, so I can be like, "Hey Google, add to Trello," and then whatever the task is. So I don't even have to open up the app or type anything out. I use automation things, Siri or Google, to add things to this parking lot list, and it's just always there. So if I'm walking down the street and I'm like, "Oh, I need to buy a new flower pot," I'll be like, "Hey Google, tell Trello to add buy a flower pot," and then it just pops up here. And I don't
That's
have to do
awesome. What
anything.
do you need to do to set that up, Daniel?
You have to Google that one. That one's a little bit more advanced.
Okay.
That one's a little bit more, but
Google,
it's possible.
how to
But it's
set up
possible. It's possible.
voice. What would you Google? What would you Google?
So have Siri add Trello card.
Nice.
And then somebody's using Siri to send tasks to Trello. See,
Nice.
we've already done it.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Now you're very technologically advanced, Salwisha, and I want to just kind of ask your greater opinion about this. I've heard a few people in tech say, we're just really good at Googling stuff. And as people who might be a little bit afraid of technology or intimidated by technology or new to using technology, they might think that because they have to Google or they don't know or someone has to actually tell them or show them. What would you have to say to people who are just getting their heads around technology? How often do you use Google, and how often should they be using Google and YouTube?
Oh, the world moves so fast that we actually used it today because we were trying to work something out with this live streaming, making something go full screen. And Elise is sitting there probably thinking that I've memorized every option on every computer. But I'll be honest, I just Googled it. I said how to go full screen in Chrome on PC, and full screen Chrome PC. And then they've made it so good. Oh, I told her she has to press F11, and that's what she did, and it worked.
Yeah.
It's not because I'm not smarter than a lot of people. I just know how to use Google.
Yeah. So highly, highly, highly recommend that you familiarize yourself with Google. This is a great opportunity as things slow down a little bit to pick up on some of the skills that will be setting you up for success in the future when everything returns back to normal. Well, normal, it's going to be interesting to see what the new norm is. But really, what we do know is that technology will probably play an even more fundamental and integral role in us managing our businesses. So setting your team up for success now and learning and teaching yourself to use Google and YouTube to find the answers to some of the questions is a great use of your time over the next few weeks. Now let's move on to Monday.com.
Yeah, so before we go there, I will share another little mindset that I have is this is an amazing opportunity for everybody to look at their process and decide what you're no longer going to do. If there's something in the process that no one likes and it doesn't add value and it doesn't help you do your job better or add $1 in your pocket, chuck it and get rid of it and let's start something new. So that's my
Love it. So review your processes, set up your systems, review your processes, make sure that everything you do has a result.
Yep. So this is the second one that we can show you, and this one is called Monday.com. And if you notice, since I'm logged in, it shows slightly different. But what you'll see is that making teamwork click anywhere. This is a really more advanced version of a project management, and it's used for bigger organizations. You can think about to use Monday or Trello for even community groups that you may be part of. Monday is more expensive, so they start out on a per user. So if you have like 10 users, they want $50 per month for you, which is $10, which is per user. But they have a free trial that you can do, and they do some pretty amazing things. They don't let you do the calendar view, which some people like to be beholden to a calendar so they can see everything that's due on a certain date. But you get to do this. So start out with the basics, see if it's working, and as you want more and more features, they'll gladly take more money as you go. If you're curious how to use it, they do have these use cases on how people use it with remote work. Notice right now they're telling you how popular it is because they're getting inundated with it. HR processes. So if we are hiring people or we have a new employee onboarding process or a sales process, marketing, doesn't matter what it is. These are all good use cases. They actually step you through what that would look like. And they say, hey, here's how somebody used it, these big companies, and they give you some tidbits on how you may be able to do that. So just if you're looking for a reason to use it, they'll tell you all that. Leave requests. So again, it's the same concept of something's there and we can work on it. So same concept in Monday, where they have this concept as boards. Boards are, think about big project. List are the different things that we need to do, and cards or tasks are the smaller steps that are actionable that we can do. So for instance, if I come over here,
tasks.
Yep, task, and yep, that's pretty much it. So this particular board that we're doing for the Traction Lab, and this was just an example we were doing, this is your big, massive board and list of things that you do. So we had business housekeeping, things to do on the website, and you can just come in here and you just add a list, and maybe we want to do something with accounting, and then they make it super simple that you can click there and we can say something like file BASF. I think that's the business accounting quarterly or every month report.
Yeah, it's BAS, yeah.
Yeah, business activity, yeah, summary. Yeah. And you just put in here and just file taxes and whatever it is. You can assign it to somebody. Again, they've just inverted this a little bit. You can assign it to somebody. The person's name will show up, whoever's there. You can give it a status, and they make it super red as a stuck, oh my gosh, I need help on it. Waiting on advice, and then you can always give it a due date for some date wherever in the world that you want to do it. So a little bit of a different look at it, but what you can do is just like in Trello or any of these other tools that are out here, you can give updates. This is where we were playing around and messaging each other. You can attach photos saying, hey, this is what I was thinking. Is this what it is? Do you agree, disagree? You can message and communicate with that. The big thing is that if we don't document what we need to do, it'll never get done. So I would always encourage people to think about how you will document it, even if you're not going to be able to get to it today. If it's out of sight, out of mind, you'll never get it done. But even if it's things you want to do, you've got to document it. So it's a different version of a to-do list, but it's super simple to use. You can search on it. This is another one you can automate. You can say, hey, every time some lead is filled out on a website, it gets added to, maybe we have a sales list, sales inbound. And when somebody fills out that form on our website, or somebody does something, it could be customer name and then their phone number, whatever it is. And then it can be assigned to one of our employees automatically, and then they know that's their to-do list.
That's awesome. So Monday.com really is best for people with larger teams, and it seems more delegation focused. Would that be the right assumption to make?
It's Trello on steroids. They both have their great aspects of what they can do. You just have to pick which one you're willing to learn, which one works with your process, and go forward from there. I wouldn't use a lot of the tools in Monday, but a more advanced business definitely could and would.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, if you get stuck, what should people do?
Google it.
Google it, YouTube it, Google it.
And the other amazing thing is, with all these tools, they do have a help feature, and they have webinars that are just sitting ready for you to do. The tutorials, I bet you anything that if you go to Facebook, that there is a Monday enthusiast group of people that just love it so much that they teach other people how to use it. So if we do Monday user group, let's see if that comes up. I bet you anything it will. There's so many of these affinity groups and things that people love to do out there.
Yeah. And then you can join a group, ask questions, post whatever you want. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Excellent. So really, I think in summary, you have to adopt the mindset that if things are not documented, they don't exist. You have to re-look at your processes, your systems, your procedures, and document the steps, and then use technology to make that easy so that you can delegate easily, and you can keep track of where people are, and you can communicate with each other really, really, really easily via these platforms. And they all sync with all your devices, right? So you can set it up on your laptop or on your desktop computer, and then sync that with everything you have, your iPad, your Android phone, doesn't matter what devices you use, it can sync across so that you always know what's going on. And then if you get stuck, go to the help function on either of the platforms or any platform that you would choose to use. And if you're still stuck, just Google it. That's what the professionals like Daniel tend to do. And the reality is, you are right, things change so quickly in the tech world. You can't remember everything all the time. So Google is your friend. Brilliant. Mr. Daniel Johnson, just before we say goodbye, is there anything else that we need to remember with remote managing teams?
Communication is the biggest thing. So I think we'll have an opportunity where people aren't interacting with each other as much as they were before. So some tools for that, and we use this in the Smart Hub. One is Slack, slack.com, and it's just a message board, people going back and forth. And that lets people have independent conversations, on-topic conversations. There's a silliness and random little chat room. Just because you're at home doesn't mean that you need to be heads down and the only thing you do is think on work. You still have to have a little bit of fun. So give yourself permission to communicate. There's cool things that can happen if you get a little bit advanced, and I would love to show somebody in this region this, but you can make it where every time that you get a assignment task in Trello, it would actually ping you on Slack. So you can make these amazing things happen. So that you're in constant communication. So I would say use Slack, use some other, if you want to use Microsoft Teams, you can do that, but Slack has a free version, which is pretty good for a lot of communities. And then make sure that you connect. If you're just connecting by typing things out, humans only use about 7% of our communication ability by typed out words. So if I send the word, if Elise says, hey, I need you to do this, and I respond with the word fine, F-I-N-E, in a period, Elise could take that 100 different ways.
Mm-hmm.
But I would encourage everybody to look into video conferencing tools. So my favorite one is Zoom, ZOOM.us, and that allows you, and it's free to use for one-on-one communication. Anytime you add a third or more people, it will limit you to 40 minutes of collaboration. But you know what? It only costs $149 US a year. It's probably my third most valuable low spend item that I purchase, and I'm willing to pay for it because it just simplifies my life so much. So typed out communication through Slack, have your community going through that, and then make sure that you're utilizing some type of visual communication with this. And if you do connect to Zoom on your computer, on your phone, and you may think that you may turn your camera off while you're walking around your house, be sure you know that your screen is on because there's a funny video right now where somebody went to the toilet while they were on a work conference call, and it's we won't put that in the Zoom in the comments.
No, again, I'm sure if you YouTube it, that'll come up.
Yeah. Just know and make sure if you're on these calls that you're present. Don't be eating and doing other things. Humans are horrible at multitasking, but be present, know the right communication tool, document it if it doesn't exist, and then align your task and your processes to the technology and the people, and use this opportunity just to prune and get rid of crap. If you don't need it, get rid of it.
Yeah, great advice. Thank you so much, Daniel. If you have any questions, please private message us here at the Smart Hub. We want to continue to bring value to you in this time. So if you have anything specific that you'd like us to cover, please feel free to private message us, suggest topics, and we'll definitely do our best to try and manage our conversation and our Hub Lives to do what will be valuable to you. So we look forward to you reaching out. And yeah, we look forward to continuing our work and for you to join us again next Thursday at 1 o'clock for our Hub Live so we can continue to work through the current situation. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Mr. Daniel.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
See ya.